overcomplicates getting their first virtual assistant client. They think they need a full-blown website, branding, a portfolio, and a flawless Instagram feed. Most beginners get their very first client before having any of this in place, and sometimes within days. Today, I'm walking you through exactly where virtual assistant clients come from, 5 beginner-friendly methods that consistently work, how complete beginners are getting paid without being cringe or desperate. And the best part is that the method that works the fastest is the one that people often overlook. This is the method that is going to work faster than absolutely anything else, because the number one thing that clients are hiring for is somebody that they trust. And almost every beginner absolutely ignores this method because they feel so cringe putting themselves online, but honestly, it is the best way to get your first client. I've spoken to a lot of people and they say, I don't want to bother people I know. Nobody in my circle needs a virtual assistant, or my friends aren't business owners. But here's what people often forget is that your network isn't just the people that you know. Your network is the people that you know and the people that they know. And the people that you don't necessarily know yet, those are your clients. Warm connections includes friends, family, current or past coworkers, former managers or bosses, people you went to school with in high school, in grade school, your personal Instagram or Facebook audience, people in your extended social circle, and anyone that you've ever had a conversation with. Now, when you're speaking with these people or you're introducing yourself to these people, you're not pitching to them, you're not begging, you're not being weird. You're simply sharing what you now do, and you're doing it confidently and clearly. So I know a lot of people are going to struggle in this area, especially if this is something that is very fresh and new to you. I definitely understand. I was in your boat where I felt like I was instantly going to be judged. However, that is fear talking. Yes, there may be people out there who are going to say something, so what? Let them say it. Then you're not going to let them stop you from creating the business that you want. And in order to get the business that you want, we need to start with the hard things, which is getting our first client. So you can simply do this on Instagram to your personal audience and say something along the lines of, hey everyone, I'm sharing this quick update. I've officially started offering virtual assistant services for business owners who need help with blank. If you know anybody who may need support, feel free to reach out or share my information. It can be any sort of combination of those words. You can even go to chat to help you create a soft and warm introduction to your services. Or if you don't want to come out so publicly on your Instagram stories just yet, you can also message your friends as well. And you can say something along the lines of, hey, I wanted to let you know that I've started offering virtual assistant services. I know you're not a business owner, but if you ever had anybody who needs help with organizing their back-end stuff, let me know. This isn't asking them to hire you. You're simply letting them know about this new journey that you have and the services that you're offering. And if for whatever reason they happen to have a conversation with somebody who could potentially use your services, they're going to give them your information. And believe it or not, especially nowadays, there are a lot of people who have side hustles, online businesses, things that they'll just need assistance with that you don't necessarily know that they have going on. And the reason that referrals and connections like this work so well is people love connecting people with people. It makes them feel helpful, like they've contributed to something. And your first yes often comes from someone saying, oh wait, my friend owns a coaching business. She's drowning in admin work. Let me connect you. Quick reminder that this is video 4 in my 6-part series where I walk you step by step through becoming a virtual assistant and getting your business fully set up. If you're jumping in here, I definitely recommend going to check out that playlist. If you've been following along, then you are in the right place. Value-driven engagement. This is often another thing that people constantly overlook because they feel like they should put out their Instagram posts and put out in the world that they are offering virtual assistant services and that the clients are just going to come out of the woodwork in order to hire you. And that's not necessarily how it works. Yes, you could potentially get lucky, but what we're going to do here is create our own luck. What value-driven engagement is essentially joining Facebook groups where your ideal client is hanging out. Inside of these Facebook groups, you're answering questions, you're providing insight, so you can pose yourself as an expert. So every time they think that they have a question, they're going to think of you first. And while doing this, you're also making connections on that human level. You're not pitching, you're not being salesy. You're essentially answering a question that somebody asks and providing your expert opinion. So this could be something like commenting on business owners' posts. And this is super important that you're answering questions that you actually know the answer to. And you're sharing helpful insights when somebody asks for assistance and providing little tiny pieces of value throughout the group. You're not pitching, you're not dropping your services in every single comment. You're not making Facebook posts inside of these groups saying, here's my services, hire me. You're being visible, helpful, and most importantly, you're going to be rememberable. The reason that this works is because when somebody finally thinks I need help, they're going to think of the person who's been constantly adding value and being grounded and present inside of these Facebook groups. A majority of my clients when I first started out came from Facebook groups. And this is why I feel like this is so underrated, is because Facebook groups are very much alive to this day. You can literally find a Facebook group for absolutely everything. So if you think that you're not going to find a Facebook group for your specific niche, again, we're not niching down. However, we still need to find a Facebook group where our ideal clients are hanging out. But if you don't think that is possible, then I would like to tell you, think again. There are some rules with doing this because we're not pitching to every single person. We're not personally DMing people and pitching our services to them. We're not overthinking our presence here. And we're not really trying to impress anyone, because when we start to think that we need to impress everyone or anyone, that's when we can get caught up in our heads and never end up hitting post. This next one is honestly my absolute favorite way to help get clients through the door, is starting with beta clients. A beta client is essentially somebody that you offer your services to in exchange for a testimonial for your website, for your Facebook page. And this is actually how I get a lot of my virtual assistant clients to start getting clients through their door, and also practice having those conversations as well, because you never really know what's going to come through your door unless you start having those conversations. You need to kind of flex that muscle and get used to it. So when you hop on your sales calls, when you have these discovery calls, you're able to move them in a way where you're actually able to close the deal when it comes to a paying client. Now, I know a lot of you want to instantly start making money. However, beta clients are so underrated because it's eliminating the barrier to entry for your potential client. So right now, your potential client is looking at your services, looking at your website and saying, I have this person here that I really want to hire, but I don't have any social proof from them in order to see their work with somebody else. There's another virtual assistant that does have a testimonial from a real person who actually recommends them. Beta clients are great because it's eliminating the barrier to entry for them. There is essentially no cost. We're not doing free work forever. This is essentially just a project that you're offering to them in exchange for a testimonial. And social proof testimonials are going to be so powerful, especially in the beginning stages of your business, because it's essentially showing that somebody else has trusted you to work inside of their business and provide them with the support that they need, so that when another person comes along, they'll see the testimonial on your website, on your Facebook page, and be more willing to hire you because somebody else has trusted you. Now, again, going to these Facebook groups, you can create a post in here stating that you're offering 2 beta client positions, offering about 10 hours total in the package in exchange for a testimonial, while you refine your systems. And in exchange, you'll get high touch support and 1 monthly strategy call to make sure that everything is working smoothly. Now, it is important that you are picky in this situation, because obviously when you're offering services for free, you are going to get a lot of interest and people reaching out for your services. However, because we're doing this strategically, you want to make sure you're at least hopping on a quick 15-minute call to understand who this person is and to make sure that you do want to provide these services to this person, make sure that they have the kind of business that you want to work for, and overall just understanding that the partnership between you and your client is going to work out and is a good fit for the both of you. You don't have to accept every single person who does come through your door. We want to be selective and strategic. This is the part where I struggled the hardest when I was starting out as a virtual assistant, was actually posting on social media. This area is not about going viral. This is not about posting every single day. This is not about going live or becoming an influencer. This is essentially about telling the internet about what you do and what you're learning consistently so people actually know that you exist. You're just trying to be visible enough so when somebody needs help, they're going to think of you. Some things that you can post are essentially the systems that you're learning, the things that you're setting up inside of your business, sample projects, the things that you love about being a virtual assistant, the freedom that you're creating for yourself, your journey in itself. You don't need to be polished and perfect. You essentially just need to show you as a person and show that you're doing the work and you're reliable. And again, in the modern space of online, being in 2025, 2026, 2027, niches aren't necessarily something that we need to focus on because people aren't necessarily hiring you for the brand. They're hiring you for you, and that they know that they can trust you and that they know that you can learn as you grow. What you don't need in this section is perfect branding, a perfect Instagram feed, a posting schedule, a content calendar to post every single day or be on every single day. You just essentially need tiny little breadcrumbs that show people that you're here, you're ready to learn, you're ready to bring on clients, and to showcase your personality. This next one is one that people do not like to talk about because it's not sexy and it's not glamorous. It's essentially talking to people, but it's insanely effective. Strategic asking is simply just talking to people, not pitching, not selling, not cold DMing people. It's starting real conversations with your potential clients, like coaches, online service providers, entrepreneurs, anyone that looks slightly overwhelmed, and naturally interworking questions like, hey, how is your day going? How has business been feeling lately? I've noticed you've been posting a lot lately. Like, how are you feeling? How are you being supported? Conversations reveal problems reveal opportunities, and opportunities reveal clients. And again, I've seen this be implemented in the wrong way where you can tell somebody is trying to pitch. We're having real conversations here, and I can't stress that enough because you're not forcing anything. You're not manipulating. All you're simply do is trying to create connection and pull and listening for where you can genuinely offer help. I do want to touch on this briefly because there is a difference between what outreach is and what outreach isn't. If you Google outreach for virtual assistant, it is honestly going to provide you with many, many cold pitches, cold DMs, and tell you to go pitch out that it's a numbers game and you just need to throw it on out there. Well, technically, yes, I'm going to tell you that you're going to burn out so quickly because cold pitching is just not it anymore. Outreach nowadays is conversation, it's curiosity. It's connection, it's being human and actually listening to the person who's speaking to you. Your energy truly matters more than your words, and people can tell. People can tell when you're trying to pitch to them or when you're actually being genuine. I see this time and time again, especially when there's coaches coming into my DMs, first asking how my day has been and then immediately moving over to, well, I offer this and this. If you ever need help, please reach out. No, I'm not going to. I need you to show up with the energy of, I'm here to help if it makes sense, not, please hire me, I'm desperate. Because honestly, if you're going into the online space with that energy, unfortunately, you'll probably never see a client because clients can smell desperation and they don't want somebody who is grasping for straws in the conversation to work inside of their business. When you're talking about your services, you want them to sound like a relief rather than a list of tasks that you do. I take all of the stuff that you don't want to do that is still important for the business to run while you focus on the money generating activities. Them understand that if they're doing everything themselves, if they're not hiring help, they are leaving money on the table. Again, I've probably said this a million times throughout this video. We're not adding pressure. We're not selling. We're just providing clarity in what it is that we do. When somebody asks you what you do, you're not instantly trying to close the deal because you don't even know if there is a deal on the table. You're just planting a seed so when they do need help, they know exactly who to come to. Or when they have somebody that they know needs help, they know who to refer. Now, I want to talk about a realistic timeline because it is going to be different for absolutely everyone. There's going to be people who get their first client within the week, and then there's going to be people who don't get their first client until 6 months down the road. but both are completely valid. From when I learned what the term virtual assistant was to when I got my first client was exactly 6 months. And I showed in one of the previous videos my agenda, and for August of 2020, I had 2 clients. In September of 2020, I went from 2 clients to 7 clients. And if I had stopped in August of 2020 because I had 2 clients and I wasn't fully booked and I wasn't able to quit my job yet, I would have never made it to that next month where I had 7 clients coming through that door, and I wouldn't have never made it to 5 years later. Here I am sitting in this seat teaching you exactly what I did in order to get my first clients, working with less clients and making more money than I could have ever imagined in corporate and when I first started my virtual assistant business. The whole point here is that we need to start somewhere. Realistically, between the first 30 to 90 days is when you can expect your first client through the door. And the reason I say this is because consistency compounds. People need to see you more than once. They need to hear what you do more than once. They need to have more than one conversation with you. Yes, you may have the random person who comes along on Instagram, messages you, sets up a call, and then immediately works with you. One of my best clients actually came that way. She found me on Instagram out of nowhere, booked a call, and we've been working together for the past 4 years. However, not everybody's going to come that way. But the beautiful part here is that once you get your first client through the door, it's like the floodgates open, and it makes it so much easier to get your second client, your third client, your fourth client, because then it actually confirms your identity as a virtual assistant. And I'll never forget my first clients that I ended up working with. So when I launched my business, I did a virtual assistant internship, again, with the people that actually ran my program. From there, I had 2 beta clients. So again, I went to a Facebook group. I said that I was offering these services to 2 people. Send me a message. Obviously, there was more to that post, but that's where I got my first 2 beta clients. They wrote me testimonials for my Facebook page. So when I interviewed for my very first paid position, I was able to provide them with some social proof. So they had a little bit more trust in that I actually knew what I was doing and that I was reliable. And then honestly, it kind of snowballed from there. I actually, in the first 2 months that I started getting clients to the door, I actually had to increase my prices because there were so many people who were reaching out and coming through my doors that I had to make it a little bit more competitive for people because I just had so much interest coming through the door. And I want you to understand this, and this is the whole reason behind my channel. My whole mission is that essentially, if I did it, I am just a regular person just like you. I'm just 5 years from now you. I'm future you. If I can do it, you can do it. And I know that sounds so cheesy, but it is so true. If there's anything that you can take from this video, your first clients are going to come from connections, not pitching. You don't need perfection, you just need presence. Momentum matters more than mastery. And you are so much more ready than what you feel like right now. Now that you know where beginner virtual assistants actually get their clients from, and you know the methods that actually work, the next thing that you're wondering is probably, what do I do once I get that first client? Because that first client experience matters and it sets the tone for your entire business. In the next video, I'm walking you through the exact onboarding process that you'll need in order to set expectations, look professional, even as a beginner, the complementary systems that you'll need working with clients, and how to make your new client feel like this was the best decision that they've ever made. So go ahead and click on to the next video and I will see you there.